wa me ne re wa wa me ne re wa mi jo yo 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 mi jo yo yo mi jo yo 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 mi jo yo yo Kanaro cheri te te Kanaro cheri te te Chiri te te Ato.
All right, folks. Hey, live with the Shaman. We're running a little bit behind this morning. Let me bring up Discord here. Hello, Discord. What's left of you? Yeah, hell, we're running a little bit behind live with the Shaman here. Had a little bit of Facebook technical difficulties. If anybody gives a shit.
Hey, you do.
All right.
Yes.
Our disclaimers. We are an adult channel. We are live with the Shaman. We talk about basically shaman stuff, but you do not have to be shaman to engage, ask questions, interact. If you would like to join the Live with the Shaman, not safe for work Discord, there's an ever expiring link in the description. Also, we always give a plug to the YouTubist that puts up videos on YouTube. The link in the description is in the description. That sounded kind of ominous, didn't it? So, we do use adult language on this channel, so if you have kiddos that are watching and you don't want them hearing the occasional shit, fuck y'all damn, you may want to plug their wee little ears, because we're all adults here sometimes. On days that I feel like adulting anyway. Hello, Discord.
Good morning. She'll be right back.
That's cool. That'll be Sabrina Sharp there in the chat. We have two Sabrinas among us this morning. Glad you could...
Well, I'll call Sabrina Sabs. Her nickname.
We'll do that.
That way, Sabrina, and Sab is Sabrina. We know.
Somewhere, somehow, on a planet far, far away, that is supposed to make sense. Yeah. So, hope everybody's doing well. Our topic for today probably be a relatively short one, unless somebody has something a lot they want to talk about. Finding your shaman path. How many times have I been told shaman is shaman is shaman? Well, no. As we've talked about before, shamanism could actually be declared its own religion, if you would. Because a lot of your shaman's paths, a lot of your shaman paths, are kind of a combination of mono and polytheistic philosophies, such as the Celtic shaman. Those of us that follow a lot of the ancient Pictish ways, we have our Great Spirit, which is Great Spirit, neither male nor female, but both androgynous, and that's what gives us the Great Spirit, God and Goddess, thereby making it the polytheistic belief system falling under the umbrella of paganism. Are we confused yet?
No.
Sabs is back, and so Samantha, we're going to call you Sabs because we also have Sabrina Sharp in the chat area, who's one of our longtime students.
Sorry, I had to change my password and it booted me off my computer, so I'm on my phone now.
Oh no, no worries, no worries.
Also had to turn off my voice activity, otherwise you would echo.
Echo, echo, echo. I have a lot of echoes in my head. What's one more?
Mm.
When you know you're in trouble is when the voices in your head make more sense than the voice that comes out of your mouth.
I agree.
So, anybody have a ripping, flipping clue how many different shaman paths there really are?
Uh,
420.
Huh?
I said 420.
Did you just shit that number out of midair, or are you actually looking something up?
I just pulled it out of midair. 421 happens to be one of my numbers.
Actually, nobody really knows how many different shaman paths there are, because the word shaman did not even exist until the 1930s, when the term shaman was brought back from Siberia, the original shamans. I don't rightly know what the term shaman means in Siberia, but the word shaman came from Siberia. Then they quickly tagged it on to Native Americans. They tagged it as a part of a lifestyle of individuals that live a particular way, actually have a particular thought process. Shamanism is a lifestyle, much like Wicca, witchcraft, Druid, what have you. It becomes an actual lifestyle. It's a spiritual foundation that you either know you are, or you know you're not, type thing. Kind of like witchcraft. You either are, or you're not, a true witch. What do you think? Anybody?
you want to say that again?
Well, shamanism, much like witchcraft and druid, so the witches don't think I'm picking on them. You either know you are, or you know you are not. Shaman, witch, or druid. Any thoughts?
I kind of agree on that, but how do you find out you're that way?
And that's the $1,000,000 question. Contrary to some people's popular belief, you do not sleep with a shaman to become a shaman. I've had some people come into the grove that think by sleeping with a shaman, they are a shaman.
Oh my god. He's like, orb! I'm a
Yeah,
white lighter.
yeah, can't forget the white lighter. But no, you can learn whether or not you're shaman by embracing your confusion, stepping into the path of study. Education is never a bad thing. Good, bad, or indifferent, education is education. So if you want to know whether or not you're a shaman, get to know shamans in your area of multiple different paths. Celtic shaman, Native American, Siberian. I see there was a couple of other Indo-European. There's a Germanic tribe of shamans. There's a Russian philosophy of shamanism, which is very interesting. The Celtic shaman tends to follow the ancient Pictish philosophies of the original settlers of Scotland. There are different variables of Celtic shamanism. The furthest back I can find the term Celtic shamanism is the mid-1990s, I think. I didn't come up with the term Celtic shamanism. It hit me in a dream one night talking to spirit guides as I was learning what the hell spirit guides were in the late 90s. And I started researching the path. And here I am 20 some odd years later, still in the path. Yes, we have a grove of Celtic shaman, for which there are very few of us that have actually made the cut and made it all the way up. Now, Sabs, if you have any questions, I know you're new. If you have any questions, speak up by all means.
I sure enough will.
What is your path, if you don't mind me asking?
I am actually an eclectic, so I have multiple paths.
Eclectic pagan. Okay, yeah, we were talking about in Open Pagan Church earlier. That's actually a good thing, because you're not tied down to any one particular specific philosophy. Now here's the interesting thing about shamans, though. Part, and it's a small part of what makes shaman shaman, is we tend to be science-minded, not as in Scientology. I wanted to slap somebody the first time they compared shamanism with Scientology. Puke. We tend to be science-minded. We tend to be open-minded. However, at the same time, if you challenge a shaman in pretty much any way, shape, form, or fashion, our dumbasses will typically step up to the challenge, irregardless of good, bad, win or lose or draw. We would prefer to debate rather than to argue. Arguments solve nothing. We're listeners. Most of us are speakers, many are not. Shaman at its core, the word shaman, though, tends to denote solitary practitioner. Most shamans either start out as solitary, or if they start out as group oriented, eventually they generally end up being solitary practitioner with group underlayment. Most shamans, well, I can't say most. A lot of shamans feel it's their way or the highway in their organizations. One of the things that I had to learn in the Grove of the Celtic Shaman was that it's not my way or the highway. If I'm going to have a grove, if I'm going to have a group with a hierarchy and a written tradition, I had to learn to listen to other people's ideas while running an organization. That was fun. I still have that trouble from time to time. I'll admit it. But there are people like Cindy, Clint, people like Sabrina Sharp, who's a longtime student, Lucy, who's not here, several other members who have come through the Grove of the Celtic Shaman over the years that either didn't make the cut or they found out that they're more solitary than they are group oriented, and that's fine. One of our very active non-members, if you will, that lives in Scotland, she is a solitary shaman. So if you're thinking about trying to find a path within shamanism, people generally come to one of us, either myself, Cindy, or Clint, or even Sabrina Sharp, and they start out with, what is it? How does it work? Very hard to explain questions. What is it and how does it work? What are the fundamental foundations of shamanism? Also very hard to answer. It's doable, but not quick. But finding that path within shamanism, that denomination of shamanism, if you will, requires study. It requires research and a whole shitload of meditation.
Yeah, boy.
So, what brought Cindy? What was your deciding factor in Celtic shamanism when you were coming through as a seeker?
I guess I'm one of the split ones that happened. I was first in the coven over in Beaumont, and then I got to feeling things, and that wasn't making sense to me, or wasn't on my acceptance level, a good part of it. So I went and saw you at a munch, and then I started learning, being a seeker, of what a Celtic shaman is. And everything just felt like it was right. It was like, oh, really? And the balance was there for me. The aspect of what I wanted to learn, what in the belief system there was no magic to it. Is the best way I can put it. It was gut wrenching feeling in my, I guess, soul, body, whatever you want to call it.
So you just essentially asked the very question. You answered the very question that you asked at the beginning of the broadcast.
Yes, I did.
How do you know? Well,
You just know it's there. It's a part of you already that has, from the Christian learning, got woke up by teaching, or teaching how to open up and learn about it and feel it.
well, one of the things that I asked our old friend in Beaumont, who was the leader of the Wiccan Coven in Beaumont and in Houston for a very long time, I asked one time, I said, okay, trying to get straight in my head, because what I know about Wicca, you can put on the head of a pin. How do you know? How do you know whether you're a witch, a shaman, a druid, an Asatru, fae? And the words that she spoke to me could never have been wiser. It's not knowing what you are, but accepting what you're not. And that was 20 years ago. But that really rang true, and it set me on a quest of meditation. I already had this word shaman stuck in my head from years prior. And I had this idea stuck in my head of what was supposed to be. But I had no idea how to voice it, how to put it in a philosophy, right? And if Sabrina Sharp is still on, and you can type in, Sabrina, what brought you to shamanism, put your story in the chat there. If you're still online, I don't even know if you're still online. I don't think you are. Shows nobody's watching.
No, it's me and you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anybody else that watches our pre-recorded broadcast and you want to share what brought you to your path, you know, whether it's shaman, witchcraft, whatever, what led you to that? Oh, Sabrina says, I'm here. All right.
Oh, yeah, Thomas. Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Faye. How did you come on your path?
I've not had enough coffee.
No, out with it. Did I bring you out to property?
Yeah, you brought me to property, and
You can say her name, or Mama Faye.
no, who was the ones before that? I forgot.
Hell, now you got me trying to remember.
They lived in my old house. I remember that.
Oh
Wait,
shit.
what's her name? The black-headed lady in Scared. Was it them?
Yeah.
And some
Like,
took me in, showed me a little bit. I said, "Nah, this ain't it." And I think that was whenever we were having all the trouble in Port Arthur and
That
about to move and stuff, and somehow ended up moving out to property. Uh, and then Don and just about everyone else started giving me books. I started reading and trying to figure out where I fit. And eventually, Faye came up, and that was after people tried to point me to Shaman. I said, "Nope, not it."
Remember that? That was funny. I said, no, my son is not shaman.
Well, see, therein lies the word that could never be truer. The way you find your path is by first learning what you're not.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I could see myself as a shaman, and in a way, my path is a little bit shaman, a little bit of everything, really. I'm eclectic in a way, but I also go with the Tuatha De Danann and the dragons.
Right? Well, the actual foundation of the Celtic shaman, and Thomas, you and I have talked about this in the past, and we've talked about it here on this channel. The actual foundation of the Celtic shaman come from the Tuatha De Danann, the original inhabitants, and that's where the Pictish philosophies came from. Were the original Tuatha De Danann. Everybody still there?
Yep, I'm there.
And
I'm back.
still,
So Thomas, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
um, but eventually, I think I sat down with the one we call Mama Faye and sat there and said, "I think I'm this, but I'm also this. What do I do?" And well, some of us we're by modern philosophy, we're just so mixed. It's hard to tell which way we should go.
Yeah, and the hardest part comes, trying to find someone or a set of people that can help point you in the direction that's right for you, and not a direction that's right for them, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Um, we've had some absolutely amazing teachers pass through property. Um, and we've had some amazing teachers pass through. We've had some amazing people come through. Wonderful teachers and good people. Uh, Looks like Clint's back. Clint, what led you to the path that you follow?
well, um, I went through all kinds of different paths, religions, paths, whatever you want to call them, before Katrina and the other one, Rita. When I started coming to property, I had to stay up with you guys for that little bit for the storm stuff, and I started coming back on Sundays just to be around the gathering and listen, learn, and understand. And when we started talking, you and me, and so you started, telling me about this and that, and things started clicking into place. And I've always been that, but didn't know which path I was. And ever since I've got onto it, it has been right in the heart and in the soul.
So what it all boils down to, and I think all of us are saying essentially the same exact thing. Finding any of your paths, whether it's finding the different denominations or philosophies within shamanism, the different philosophies and denominations of witchcraft, Wicca, Druid, whatever. The biggest thing that people need to understand is there's not just one way of doing things. And we get these people that talk about, I don't have a box, don't put me in a box. Well, we, Shogai or anyone else, are actually putting you in a box. You are. You put yourself in a box that you're comfortable with. And this is a human thing. This isn't a pagan or a Christian or whatever. This is actually a human thing. We want to belong to something that makes us comfortable, that helps us have an idea or a thought or a process of who the fuck we are and where we come from, and more importantly, where we're going. So in my idea, in my philosophy, I guess, my point of view is, I don't think it's a good idea to oath, if you will, or to give an oath to multiple different groups until you figure out what the hell it is you want. Because all you end up doing is confusing yourself and putting yourself in a position to be oath bound to multiple different areas, and that's only going to add to the confusion. You can study a path, you can live that path, and you can be that path without actually carrying an oath to it. The people that speak oaths or give their oaths to a particular written tradition are those that need or want or feel like that's their future. As you grow up through that path, I mean, hell, I was in my late 30s when I made my oath. Now I'm in my late 50s. I still hold to the oath, I still hold to the grove, because it's me. That oath and that tradition gives me the discipline that I need, that I feel I need, to keep my ass on path. Because one of the other things that shamans tend to do is, unless we've got some kind of direction left to our own accord, we just go all over the place. So we end up losing focus on the task at hand, if that makes any sense at all. So the easiest, best formative way I could say to finding your shaman path is admitting and realizing and understanding what you're not first. Take a look at the shit that makes you uncomfortable. Take a look at the things that are outside of your comfort zone. If you're shaman, one of the things that shamans do is essentially, in one shape, form, or fashion, we live outside of our comfort zone. It gives us a more foundation to be able to help others. I mean, in my spiritual counseling past, I have counseled a shitload of people that were asking me about things that I was absolutely not comfortable with. But you hang with it, you stick with it, and it helps you become a better person. But the best way to find your path is to figure out what you're not. Anybody else have anything they want to put in?
Yes, not. Maybe it's going to be a short one.
Don't everybody.
All I can say is that if people are watching this later on, research paths. I mean, not just on like someone tells you, hey, you're a witch, or hey, you're a shaman, or you're a druid. Search out the path that you like, you think you might be interested in, and see if they're for you. Just don't sit on one. Learn about them all as much as you can. It's an open book, as I call it.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
That's how I started. I started off thinking that, oh, this is the exact path that I want to take, and then I started reading other philosophies, I guess, and I felt that the ones that I studied are the ones that are right for me. I mean, I feel that they make me who I am.
Right. Right. And that is, that is what helps you be who and what you are, So keeping in mind, and, those who are, watching our pre-recorded broadcast later, trying to find who you are, trying to figure out, are you shaman? What is shaman? Where did it come from? Reach out, research, learn, educate, ask questions. If you think that a particular shaman philosophy is right for you, don't give your oath to the first grove or first group that comes along. Find a mentor, live it for a while, breathe it, be what it is, and it will take about sometimes 3 or 4 months. Some people almost know instantly. Some people it can take a year to figure out that is for you or that is not for you. Finding your shaman path is like finding any other path if you're looking for a path. There are those that are perfectly happy being just eclectic, open pagan. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. There are those who just are solitary shaman. They don't have a specific denomination of shamanism. They're just shaman because it's who they are. There's nothing wrong with that. The one thing that I do ask out of anybody, though, no matter what path you walk, respect those who are different than yourself. Embrace who they are. Embrace what they are. Just because they don't think the same as you doesn't mean they're not right. Doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing. It just simply means they're different than yourself. Well, I think I'm going to cut everybody loose. Get these videos converted and get them uploaded. We'll hope to see you next week here on Live with the Shaman and at 9:30 every Sunday, Open Pagan Church. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here.
Bye-bye.